lot of different things, especially how to use Handshake. If you haven't used Handshake, that's, FAU's and job portal. So you want to make sure you do that. He's going to talk a little bit about resumes and what are some things to put in. And then he wants to make sure that everybody's Career Expo ready, because the Career Expo is next Wednesday. So he wants to make sure you're all set. So, like I said, we appreciate you coming. Hopefully you'll get some really good info tonight, and you'll be able to get yourself all ready for the Career Expo, and then hopefully get a job, and then we'll be set and good to go. Sound like a plan?
Yes.
All right, so can we give our good friend Brian a nice warm welcome?
So good evening, everyone. Like Dr. Sweet said, my name is Byron Knight. I am the liaison to the College of Business from the FAU Career Center. So in my role, I get a chance to work with College of Business students as well as College of Business student organizations such as yourself. I will have you all know, I often let employers know that this is one of the best groups of students that I get a chance to work with. It's always a pleasure. I see some familiar faces in the room. So thank you all for having me. All right, so today we want to talk about, things that you may want to consider in terms of getting ready for the Career Expo, and making sure you miss out on any small details. All right, so everyone knows about the Career Expo, correct?
Yep.
Yes. Is everyone in here planning on attending?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody in here not planning on attending?
Not a lot of.
Yes.
I'm going.
You're going?
I'm going. I'm going.
Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Okay. For those of you that are going, do you know what companies you want to talk to already?
No, I do
Okay.
not. How do I find out?
Don't find out. We'll talk about that later. Great question. Great question. So we'll go through that. I will say, for those of you who may not actively be looking for an opportunity at this point, please understand that the Career Expo is still a great opportunity for you to connect with other individuals, build that professional network. You never know who you may meet or who they may know. Whether that is, an opportunity for now or later, please keep that in mind. And we'll talk about briefly some ways that you can stay connected with some of those individuals. All right, so career fair. So who in here has not been to a career fair? Has not? Okay. Got it. All right, so for those of you who have not been to a career fair, the ones who have, just be quiet for a second. What do you expect? What expectations do you have from career fair? Like originally, at this point.
Just a bunch of tables with recruiters or just people that are representing the company and giving out cards and explaining to students what they do and what they can provide for that future.
Okay. Great answer. That's a little bit of everything. What expectations would you have of yourself in terms of things that you're making sure that you have ready or prepared before you take?
A lot of resumes.
Okay.
A good elevator pitch.
Okay.
Looking your best professionally, not just shorts and a shirt, looking good for the part.
Okay. Anybody else to add to that? Okay. So it sounds like you've been to a career fair. All right. So pretty much like a man here said, networking. Make sure you bring in multiple copies of that resume. You'll be shaking a lot of hands. Obviously, dress for success. We'll briefly talk about what that may look like for you. And definitely having that elevator pitch ready to go. All right. So kind of like I asked already, is there anything else you did not mention that you may want to make sure that you have in preparation for the career fair to make sure you are career ready and expo ready? Yes. Absolutely. You know how you do that? You know it. Any other comments?
Well, to piggyback on what she said, have questions ready to ask for the recruiters.
Okay, absolutely. Anybody else?
Sort of actually know what you're looking for. Like if
Absolutely.
you're looking part-time or an internship or a full-time kind of thing, because that's usually the first question they'll give you.
Absolutely. All great points. Anyone else? Okay. So, like you said before, that research piece, making sure you're dressed for success. You have that elevator pitch, like we mentioned earlier, copies of the resume. You have a firm handshake. Make sure that you're not giving, the wimpy handshake. So make sure it's a nice firm handshake. We can practice on that if you'd like. And then make sure that you're also following up with the employer, which we'll briefly get to as well. All right, if you all have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to raise your hand. All right, so in terms of that research piece, you want to be able to visit the company website as well as being able to look at the companies that will be there on Handshake, which we're going to go over here soon. Another place that you can research some of these companies is Glassdoor. Has anyone in here ever utilized Glassdoor before? Okay. Did you find it very helpful?
Yes.
Very okay. What type of information did you find on Glassdoor?
Current employee reviews on the company or like the job.
Salaries, benefits, just general information about the company itself.
That you definitely want to know. Anybody else? Absolutely. All right, so by utilizing Handshake, utilizing Glassdoor, you can even utilize LinkedIn as well and the company's website. These will be great ways to do research prior to attending the fair. That way you know all about the company. And this will ultimately assist you in being able to network and have conversations with your employer. All right. As you're having conversations, you want to be able to know, what positions that they're hiring for, what positions you are applying to, and just general information about the company that really showcases that you're definitely interested in the opportunities and learning more about their company. All right. So in terms of attire, make sure you're dressing conservatively, wearing suits or matching separates, obviously clean clothing. Make sure, fellas, that your belt matches your shoes. No brown belts and black shoes, or vice versa. Make sure that you bring your resumes in a pad folio or a briefcase if you can. A folder will work as well. What you don't want to do is, if you can avoid, don't bring in your entire book bag. Obviously, we know you're students, but you want to look, in the best way professional as possible. So if you can, or if you need to, put that in the locker before you come on over, or leave that in your vehicle if possible. All right, for women or whoever, simple makeup. Make sure your hair is swept off your face. It's not unkempt. Closed-toe formal shoes. Keep facial hair to a minimum. So I don't see a lot of gentlemen here with a lot of facial hair, so you all should be good. But just make sure that that is trimmed. If it does happen to grow rapidly, and that you're ready to ready to present yourself in a very professional manner. Always make sure you have good hygiene as well, and make sure you keep your hands and nails clean. Ladies for jewelry, and men as well if you wear earrings, make sure those are not distracting from your conversation or to the employer. All right, any questions about that? All right. So elevator pitch. We already know about elevator pitch here. Does anybody want to practice their elevator pitch? Or give me an example? Anybody? I can be the employer of your choice. You can come talk to me. Anybody? Any takers?
I'll take one.
Come on. All right. So what employer might you be looking at?
Let's say Office Depot for next week.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Christian.
Okay, I'm Byron. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Yes, I heard about the company. I know there's a bunch of positions opening. So what are you guys specifically looking for to fill in?
We're actually looking for data analysts.
Data analyst? Oh, okay, cool. I've been actually doing a lot of classes in the data analytics actually this semester. And I'm sort of looking for like a summer internship or something like that, just to sort of get my feet wet and sort of look into it. How do I go about the process? Should I give you a resume or apply online?
So I actually have the application instructions right here. This is where you would need to go to apply. Make sure that, you send your resume directly to me.
Okay.
But also I wanted to ask, could you tell me a little bit about your previous experience?
Yeah. So I've actually been doing a lot of work in marketing. So with marketing comes in a bunch of data analytics, especially for the advertising space. So with that, I sort of kind of combine that with my data analytics courses, and it's sort of like, I'm doing in-class practice with outside real-world experience. So it's kind of a great mix sort of what I'm doing, trying to push myself more because eventually I want to work my way to becoming a data scientist. So, it's sort of like a career path to start off my choice.
Okay, absolutely. You definitely sound like a great candidate. What I want you to do is take this paper, make sure that you, apply, follow the instructions, and send me the resume.
Okay.
And, it's been a pleasure
All right,
talking with
pleasure
you.
talking to you.
All right.
Thank you,
I would say offer him some swag, but he's the president for MISA, so he has
You have
unlimited
anybody you want to
swag.
donate this right to?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Turquoise shirt.
Okay. Well, you close this.
Oh, all right.
You could bring the box over to him.
All right, any critiques for the elevator pitch? Anything you could have done better? Talking fast? I'm here.
So the way that I interpret it, should he have introduced himself and his credentials first and then ask what positions are available, or does it really not matter?
It really depends on the flow of the conversation. I would suggest, so, over here they mentioned you spoke a little fast, so I would
Mhm.
suggest, slowing down a little
Okay.
bit. In terms of presenting your information, I would say at the introductory, as you mentioned, what program you're in, but I would say kind of briefly talk about some of the experience that you have.
Okay.
At the beginning of that conversation, and then from there, let them know if you looked up and found the positions they're hiring for, I'm interested in this position, please tell me more about the company.
Okay.
But other than that, that's great. You're mentioning some of the things that you're doing now, some of that previous experience that you have that's relevant to that position. And then ultimately, what I really enjoyed about it though, you talked about your future aspirations.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, if you can mention your future aspirations and you understand how they relate to that particular company, employers love to hear that because ultimately employers are making an investment in you as well. So making sure that by them giving you this career opportunity, ultimately this will help you in your professional pursuits. Okay? All right, so thank you for volunteering. Great job. All right. Other information or other things that you can consider, including, some of the relevant coursework you have, some projects you may have worked on, some of the accomplishments that you may have from previous experiences. So whether that's, work-related or whether that's school-related as well. And then you also want to consider, you may not include these in the elevator pitch, but you always want to make sure that you understand where your strengths lie, where your weaknesses may lie, and ultimately, as you mentioned, your future plans. So make sure that you're considering these things as you're getting ready to network with employers. That way an employer, within this short amount of time, gets a better understanding of you and all that you can bring to the table. All right? So we'll briefly talk about a resume. So please, if you have questions, you can ask them now or we can wait later. We will have a chance for you all to share your resumes with me one-on-one if you like. But in terms of resume, the basic must-haves, definitely want to make sure you have full name and contact info at the top. Make sure that your name is bolded and a few font sizes larger than the rest of the font for the resume. You obviously want your name to stand out. Education and work experience, you want to list in reverse chronological order. Everyone in here knows what reverse chronological order means?
Yeah.
No? What does it mean?
So it means from your most recent experience to everything that you did before that. Make sure that you have dates written out with month and year. It says no abbreviation. Sometimes due to space you may have to abbreviate dates. Just make sure whatever that you do that it is synonymous throughout the entire resume. You don't want some of those experiences, dates written all the way out and others with numbers. Just make sure it's the same, consistent throughout. All right. So additional sections you may want to think about adding to the resume. Certifications that you may have. Memberships, affiliations, definitely MISA. Any honors or awards you may have received, within college or if you find very, relevant to what you may be applying to at that company. Volunteer experience works. Anyone here speaks another language?
Yep.
So you definitely got that on your resume, right? Yeah. All right, perfect. If you do speak another language, make sure that you're including that. Advanced computer skills, research experience as well. One of the things I want to touch on, and I see it too many times, and I'll tell people all the time, with skills and abilities, everyone has a different take on it. Some people like to see intangible skills, but I like to see here are hard skills. So for skills and abilities, I wouldn't find it relevant for you to tell me teamwork, or collaboration, or these very general things. What I really want to get here is an understanding of what you can do and that you can perform for me on the spot. If you were to say something very general, anyone can say that, but what speaks to you and your unique experiences are how you describe those experiences within your experience section. All right. So if you're familiar with utilizing, certain systems and whatnot, make sure that you're including that in these additional resume sections. If you perform certain tasks, make sure that you're including that in the descriptions within your experience section. All right. Do I have any questions about additional sections or information you may want to include? Yes.
I'm just curious about the overall length of the resume. What is too long?
Okay, so how I look at it is if you are applying to a position that's entry level, they're not expecting you to have tons of experience. And many of the times they know that you're a student, so that kind of goes along with the territory. I would say one page should do. If you find yourself with, multiple experiences and they all relate, and it's really a great way to showcase yourself, then feel free to go beyond. But I typically suggest not going past the page unless you're applying to a position that requires plus years of experience. You would typically find that in the job description. Great question. Anybody else?
So like, you want to be chronological?
So it depends on your experience, great question, and I don't have functional on here today. But chronological is when you want to be able to showcase, you've been promoted in different roles and your growth and experience throughout different roles. So it really depends on you and the experiences you have. I would suggest using functional. You have a huge gap, between employment, maybe you're at multiple jobs for quick periods. And so within a functional format, you're really describing skills in general that you've attained and you've mastered, versus really describing each individual experience, if that makes sense to you.
But like, what if you don't have experience, like this would be your first experience for internship with this company, like, and then you have functional time to do it for giving the company what they want, in a sense, so how would you do that if you want to jump in? Because I don't want to put like, let's say I'm applying to be like a basketball player or something, I would put like my football experience, because it has nothing to do with that, and I don't know.
I get what you're saying, but I'm glad you asked that question because it's going to give us another point. You're in college right now. People are not expecting you to have this long list of experience. They understand that you're attaining these skills at this point. So I would say don't stress about that. However, what you want to think about is transferable skills that you have, that you gained throughout your time here at the university or in previous experiences. So transferable skills that are almost applicable to any job is working with others. So being able to showcase that through the different descriptions you've had, if you had the right reports, things of that nature that really call the attention to detail of things that you want to be able to include about previous experiences. They may not be 100% related to what you're applying for, however, they show transferable skills, and really, definitely being in college, employers understand that they can kind of teach and kind of mold you into the type of individuals that they're looking for in relation to that job. So that, I wouldn't say stress or fresh about that. But great question. Another thing, so what it brought me to another point, what you may definitely want to add then, and I suggest to students, if you don't have a lot of work experience in the area, but you want to showcase you've mastered certain subjects, you can always add a relevant coursework section. So that's where you list some of those higher level courses that you've taken within the program, and it's a great way to showcase, okay, I don't have a lot of work experience, but I know a ton about this and know a ton about this, and this is good. But yeah, that would be my suggestion. Any other questions? All right, so references do not go on your resume. Leave that for a separate page. I would say if you right now have that on your resume, just keep it to the side. You may need it later. Make sure that you include your contact information at the top of the reference page if you do need to submit it, but that will be separate. Typically, a lot of places, when they're getting closer to hiring, they'll ask you for the reference sheet, so don't feel the need to put that on the resume. And always make sure that you seek permission from any of the reference sheets you may use for it. So you don't want to put someone on there and then they get a call and they're like, or they have negative things to say about you. All right, like we talked about, make sure that you have a firm handshake, have eye contact, smile, be confident, and I won't have you on give it a try. So follow up. So make sure. So who in here has attended a career fair? Yeah. All right. So when you all attended a career fair, and anybody can raise their hand and clear it out. How many of you sent a thank you letter afterwards? Okay, so quite a few of you. What type of information did you, or what did you say? Just thank you for the opportunity, or how did that go?
For mine, it was thank you, or pleasure meeting you at the FEU's career fair. I think something about like some marketing internship or something like that, and I just messaged saying thank you. I'm more interested in the marketing internship. What following steps should I do in order to forward the process? I think I said something like that.
Okay, great. Anybody else?
I said thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I said there's the world is small, that we had a couple connections. Please let me know if there are any future opportunities available.
Okay, great.
Well, like for the companies that come in here, I sent like a thank you email, and what I would say is, I mentioned a couple of things they mentioned in the presentation, and kind of relate that to a conversation we maybe had after the initial info session, and just kind of say it was an honor for you guys to come out, and it was really enjoyable
Absolutely, absolutely. So I like the merger of all that together. So in terms of attending, a career fair or even after you're finishing the interview, it may seem corny and cheesy because I used to think that as well. But employers enjoy thank you letters. It's a great way for you to showcase, all that you learned about the position. So like you mentioned, being able to talk about some of those things that you all specifically mentioned in your conversation. That's going to be a way for the employer or the recruiter to remember you, and being able to place that name and face. Make sure that you're including that information, and like I said, always send that thank you. If you can, employers like handwritten thank you letters. If not, the email is fine. So make sure that, after you have that contact card, that you're able to put that in your, email and save that address, or that you're adding those individuals to LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a great place where you can continuously build your professional network and continue to keep up with other individuals. Like I said before, they may not have opportunities open for you right now at this moment, but later in time, you never know. So as you get those cards, make sure that you add those individuals and look forward to connecting with them. All right. Does anybody have any questions about thank you letters? No? Look like you might have. No?
Did you say that it's better to handwrite a letter and send it to them?
If you can handwrite and deliver it, I would say deliver it because it's some chance. But if you can handwrite and deliver it, that'd be great. Anybody else? So now on the handshake. Everybody in this room has a handshake account?
Yeah.
No? Y'all not telling me the truth? We gonna learn today. But, all right, so for those of you who do not have handshake, if you go to fau.edu/career, it'll bring you to our Career Center website. From there, you will be able to click the Students tab, which will lead you here. And what you will find here on the left-hand side, some of the resources we have to offer, and you'll find Handshake, all right? You can click on it, and it'll take you right here. It uses single sign-on, so if you have not set up your account, all you have to do is log in to FAU email, and once you go to Handshake, it'll ask you for those same credentials and you can log in. All right, important to note is Handshake is our online database for jobs and internships, and it posts opportunities from all across the nation and even the world. So please keep that in mind. If a company wants to connect with FAU students, they're able to post these opportunities to us. With that being said, Handshake, there is actually an application for it, so you can feel free to download it on your mobile device. I wouldn't say while you're in class, but as you're walking to class or from class, you're looking for different opportunities. This is something that can really help you with that. All right. If you're first setting up the profile, or if you know you've had changes in your interests, something that is important that you notice when you first start the profile, you will be asked a set of career interest questions. Based on how you answer those questions, the type of opportunities, it will relate to the type of opportunities that are provided to you each time that you log in on its own page. So you'll see categories such as jobs with travel, jobs in the city with best nightlife, companies with great perks, reputable companies. So whatever your interests are, these will all align based on what you've selected. All right, and you can always change that if you want by your name in the career interest tab. All right. So in terms of searching for jobs and internships, you definitely want to filter that search. Is anybody in here searching for a particular role at this time?
Full time.
What I'm saying is there a particular you mean,
IT technician.
are you looking in a particular area?
Let's say Boca.
Field support.
Yeah, maybe like IT help desk, probably.
Support specialist.
Yeah.
Play around with the filters. Sometimes, depending on the title, you'll be able to figure out what may be easier to find. From there, once you find a position, you'll find out all the information, whether it's an internship, part-time job, full-time job. You'll see that quick information about a particular role. Make sure that you always pay attention to the application close date. Once the application closes, we cannot reopen it for any reason that is set by the employer. All right, what you will find here is some of these opportunities allow you to apply externally, so it'll take you to the company's website. Others, or most of these, will allow you to apply by the click of a button. So you're actually applying through Handshake to that company. And so if you want to do that, you have to make sure that your resume has been approved by the Career Center. So with uploading and having your resume approved by the Career Center, you'll be able to go here to your name, documents, you'll be able to add a new document, and then from there, you'll be able to receive feedback from the Career Center. That may take 24 to 48 hours, especially if it's on the weekend. But what that looks like is if you have your resume and there are changes that need to be made, we will suggest those to you. However, if it is many changes that you know it's a lot to write, we may suggest that you come in so that we may best be able to serve you. All right. But once you've re-uploaded it and you've been able to make those corrections, you will see the resume may be approved. And so you will typically receive a message both in your email as well as Handshake letting you know it has been approved. And so once it has been approved, you can apply to most of these positions by the click of a button. Also, keep in mind with Handshake, employers can actually view your profile as well. So if you meet the preferences that they're looking for in terms of major, GPA, whatever the case may be, they can actually find and contact you on Handshake. So please keep that in mind. In terms of that research piece, if you see some of those companies with positions posted, this is another way for you to look at some of those positions, what they may entail. And then hear a little about the company, as well as being able to go to that company website as well. So that's typically what a search may look like in terms of searching for jobs and internships. All right. And then what I really want to show you all are the upcoming events and how you can see the employers who will be at career fairs. So for any of you who have not utilized it, with the events tab, you will see different events that companies may be having here on the FAU campus, as well as events and workshops that we, the Career Center, are providing. But you can find all of this information here. The next era that I sent definitely should be on here, but I'll get to the career fair because you can actually filter by different events. But for the career fairs, you go to find career fair. From there, you can see a list of all of the career fairs that we have scheduled for this the rest of this semester. We click on the Career Expo, and from there, you'll find a fair description. So making sure that you have the correct attire. Making sure, reminding you to bring copies of your resume, and if you have any other questions, giving you the information to our employer that you think about the event. All right. You can view all of the employers here, and you can actually filter these. So it's very helpful in terms of being intentional about attending the career fair. If you wanting to find out if you need to make that extra effort to make parking, this is something that will definitely assist you in making that decision, as you'll know exactly who will be in attendance. All right. So we can filter by major, just to show you what that may look like as well, and you can filter by the type of opportunity. All right. Yeah, listen. So here you will see a list of some of those companies that are related to MIS. And so just to show you what that may look like, so you click on opportunity. So in terms of doing that research before you attend the fair, this is really one of the main pieces. You'll be able to see, exactly who will be there. Handshake allows you to see reviews by other students or other individuals who worked for the company. So that kind of gives you, a better idea of what that company culture may be like working at that particular place. You'll also find interview questions, kind of giving you a better idea of what to expect. And then also you will be able to find the job that they currently have posted. So what I would suggest is if you see a company that will be in attendance and you definitely are looking to intern or work for them, go ahead and apply to some of those positions beforehand, especially if it's definitely the position that you want. It's a great way for you to go ahead and put a name and face there, and then being able to show up at the fair and kind of discuss. I recently saw this position, I applied for it, and from there being able to make that connection. Between the name and the face. And so they'll not only see you in the Handshake portal, but they'll have your resume there on hand, really reinforcing that. All right. You can always favorite employers as well and come back to some of those opportunities they may have. Do I have any questions about searching, for employers at the career fair? All right. And so last but not least, you can actually schedule an appointment to meet with myself or to meet with a career counselor. And so you can do that via the Career Center tab and schedule an appointment. Once you select an appointment, you'll be able to see the times that you may request. From there, after you request the time, it's sent to us. And then we'll either accept or decline that request. If we have to decline for whatever reason, we have to give you a reason. Like we have to send that out in a message. And also it's a great way, if you happen to need to cancel or reschedule, you can do that via handshake as well, without having to give us a call or come into the office. All right. Do I have any questions regarding handshake or anything that I did not cover? Yes.
Look at the list of companies attending the career fair. Would that be on handshake?
Yeah. It's right here in the events tab. So go here, you go to find career fairs. From there, you can find a career expo or any other fair you may be interested in attending. And then you can view all employees right here. All right. Any other questions? Great. And then last but not least. So is anyone familiar with the 0 to 4 credit internship course that we have at the Career Center? You want to give a spiel out about the course?
Yeah, depending on your program major, if you have one class that's like holding you up that you just can't find the right time for it, you can substitute that class with the internship, and that counts as that 3 credit course that you need to graduate. I took it last summer, and I just didn't have time to take it in the fall, so I did it in the summer, and it counted as a class I needed to graduate.
So the course is 0 to 4 credit, so if you don't want credit for it, you can get transcript notation. However, if you want credit, depending on how many credit hours you're looking to receive, it corresponds with how many hours you need to complete an internship within that semester. So for 1 credit, it is 60 hours that you have to complete in that semester at that internship site. For 2, it's 90 hours. For 3, it's 120. And for 4, it is 180. So keep that in mind. If you think about it, throughout a 12-week period, 120 hours, if you're doing 12 weeks, that's 10 hours a week. So something that definitely can be done. And what it can do is keep you from taking other electives that you may not have any interest in. It's a great way for you to gain professional experience, at the same time gaining academic credit. So
So, you know how there's a surcharge if you go over the 120? If you were to go over 120 credits because of this, would that count? Or would those credits go away? And so you wouldn't go over 120?
it would be like a regular course. So if you're adding over that, then you may have to pay that surcharge or hour fee, but it's literally exactly like a course. So things I want to mention about it is if you are looking to register for the course, you first need to find your internship. After you find the internship, you want to meet with Lauren Sherlock or Jody K. Reese, downstairs in the internship team. And so from there, they'd be able to fill out a form for you. They take a look at your banner. They'd be able to let us know, what credits that you are eligible to apply to, in terms of number of credit hours. And then from there, you bring that form over to the Career Center. They instruct you on the rest, and we'd be able to register you for the course. You cannot register for this course yourself online. You have to come to our office and complete our registration forms, and then we have you all set to go for the course. Last thing I want to mention about it is that this course takes place on a rolling basis. So up until about a month and a half before classes end, you can actually, engage in the course. So maybe you find an internship late, and you're still going to be able to complete all those hours that we just talked about for your respective credit hours. You can actually still enroll in the course, and there's no additional fee added, so no late fee. All right. Any questions? Yeah, can you remember the course, like what you had to do for the course in terms of assignment?
I had to write a couple papers, and I had to do a status check to let the professor know like what exactly I'm doing in my internship. Pretty much you have to write like two papers or like 3 papers, just like your status update, and then just check in with your boss, let them know, hey, I'm doing this for class. Do I have any improvements I need to make? So it's like a check for you and a check for the professor to know that you're actually doing something in your internship. You're not just at an internship to say you have an internship.
Yeah, so for the internship course, there's 2 major. In the first assignment, You're setting goals based around our NACE competencies, which is the National Association of Colleges and Employers. So they found 8 career readiness skills that all students need to have when going into the workforce. So you'll be creating goals for those in that first midterm assignment. And then at the end of the course, you'll be reflecting on how you were able to achieve those goals in a bit lengthier of a response. But those are literally the only assignments that are due for the course, and it's all on campus. So just wanted to make sure that you all were well aware of the internship course and how they did it. All right. So one of the last things that we have is interview streaming. So this is relatively new. You can go to FAU.interview streaming. So some of you may have, Skype interviews or Google Hangout interviews for your first round of interviews or whatever the case may be. Know that this is something that is free to students, so you can virtually practice, resumes on Skype. Some of those, if you've never, conducted an interview, in that online format, can be very different. It can take some getting used to. So it's a great way for you to practice. You can actually select questions based on the industry that you may be applying to. And so those questions will be pre-made. You'll be set on a timer for each question. And then after you finish the interview, those results from the mock interview will be sent to us at the career center of a particular company that you cannot, obviously speak with because you're not in attendance. Please reach out to me and I'll do my best to get them your resume covered. That way, they have that information. By the students, it is free. No cost associated. It's not a program. You can keep these items. And so I will